Hi everybody, I'm Colin and this is my camping channel on YouTube. This is my first video upload for this particular channel and I hope it'll be of some use to you and that you'll subscribe, and hopefully there'll be some more useful videos fairly shortly. Today we're going to talk about airbeds. Every single day on Facebook, on one of the Facebook channels, the groups, somebody asks about camp bedding, and Facebook and the whole world seem to be firmly down the middle between those who say that an airbed can be the most comfortable night of your life, or that they're absolutely useless and they go down and you end up on the floor and everything. And obviously all of those people are right and all of those people are wrong. There are different things that suit different people, and there are some great airbeds out there. Personally, I get the best nights sleep on an airbed. I can't sleep on a camp bed. I've never found one yet that I find comfortable. But camp beds are designed more for back sleepers. If you sleep on your side, they're not as comfortable at all. But there are quite a few things about airbeds that people need to bear in mind, and little tips that they can use to get the very best out of them and to make sure that that it's right for them and that they last. Treated properly, a good airbed will last you a good few years. My oldest one now is 5-6 years old. For the cost of them, the ownership is for nothing. So firstly, we're going to talk about why do so many people choose airbeds over camp beds. Camp beds obviously have been around for centuries and centuries. Generally speaking, they're very, very reliable, they're well made, and you know, they do the job. They're not always comfortable. The modern trend is to use a camp bed and then put a self-inflating mattress on top of the camp bed to give additional comfort and to allow you, if you do want to move around during the night, to allow that to be a little bit more comfortable. And certainly that can be a really, really effective way of doing it. But a good camp bed is going to cost you, well, an average camp bed is going to cost you from about £40 for a single, about £70 for a double. The self-inflating mattresses to go on the top, for a half decent one you're going to pay between £30 and £50 for a single, between £50 and £60 for a double. So you're looking at a purchase really of £80 to £90 minimum. That's for a fairly basic system. The better quality self-inflating mattresses, you're looking at £100 and more for those, and some of them over £200. And a really good bed, again, there's not a huge variety in price, from £40 up to about £80, £90. In comparison, a good quality king size, UK king size, American queen size, full height airbed is going to cost you around £50. So there's a big cost saving in buying an air mattress. The second reason is really it's storage space. You know, a good camp bed is really heavy, it's really bulky, it takes up space. The mattresses, the self-inflating mattresses, are also extremely bulky, and obviously the thicker they are, the better quality they are, the bulkier they are. So I'm just going to take the camera off the tripod and I'm going to show you a couple of different ones. So here on the right you can see a double camp bed along with two single self-inflating mattresses. Now a lot of camp beds, the doubles have a big bar up the middle, and some mattresses don't go over those, so a lot of people prefer to use two single mattresses. It also means that if the two of you are different weights, you can adjust your mattress to suit your preferences. So you can see that they're actually really quite big. They're also, these are very heavy. I don't know if it tells you a weight on there. 13.5 kilos just for the bed itself, and then you've got the two mattresses. Mattresses obviously don't weigh very much, but as you can see they are quite bulky. In comparison, that is a king size airbed. Goes into a bag, it takes very little storage. In terms of weight, it weighs sort of 3, maybe 4 kilos. very easy to store. You know, a lot of people, it's not just while you're away camping, it's also the space in the car, and when you get back home, it's the space back home that you need to look at. So those are the two reasons that people tend to choose airbeds. So for the moment we're going to dismiss the camp beds altogether, and we're going to talk about airbeds for a little bit. Okay, so here I have an airbed. This is a single one. I don't have room in here to put the king size up, but even the single ones are much more spacious than a single camp bed. The average camp bed gives you about 64 centimetres of width. A large single camp bed might give you sort of 70 to 74. These are a metre wide, 99 centimetres actually wide. So they're as big, if not bigger, than a single bed at home. So all you have to do is just roll them out. Now I'm going to blow this one up, and I'm not going to make you watch while I blow it up, but I will turn the camera off and then I'll turn it back on. You'll notice when it's near to being completely blown up, the noise from the motor will change. Now these actually have a built-in pump. These ones are made by Intex, but there are plenty of other brands available. So these have an inbuilt pump that just runs off your standard electrical socket. Now that's another thing to bear in mind when you're looking at bedding. Obviously your self-inflating mattress and camp bed don't require any electricity at all. These do. However, you can inflate them with an ordinary battery operated pump or something like that, even though they come with one built in. But really, you know, these are designed for the more glampy type people like me that prefer a nice comfy night, but also always have electricity. I'm going to plug it in. Make sure that the valve is turned to inflate and not deflate. So inflate and then turn it on. That was on deflate, and as you can see it actually takes the air out as well. I'm going to leave it to pump up all the way, and I'll let you know how long it took as well actually. So we'll add about 20 seconds. So that took less than 2 minutes, to 1.5 minutes to blow up, which is pretty good. Straight out the box, it's comfortable. As you can see, it's very comfortable. Now, a few things to bear in mind with airbeds. Because you don't use them all the time, they get folded up, they get put back into the bag. So when you blow them back up again, you're going to get lots of little creases like this all the way around. So when you blow it up initially, if you leave it about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, even half an hour, then top it up again. You'll think that air has gone out of it, but what in fact is happening is air is getting into the little creases like this and starting to push them out, which actually means the airbed itself is stretching, and that means there isn't enough air inside it. So, I mean, I can feel even just sat there, you know. So to top it up, there, didn't take long at all, did it? And that is now nice and firm. They're very comfortable. I mean, really, these are as near to an actual mattress as you're going to get. You can put, obviously, memory foam topper on, or a shaggy fur, sort of artificial fur cover on. but they are great. But there are a few issues with them. Now, this will need topping up again shortly because of the reasons that I've just said. But one thing to bear in mind with air, of course, is that in hot weather it expands and in cold weather it contracts. So if you're putting this up the next morning, you go out for the day, it's absolutely red hot, blistering hot, and you've got it set as high as it's going to go, as firm as it's going to go, it will start to expand even more, and that can put pressure on the seams, it can put pressure on the beams inside, and these are one of the things that lead to these things not lasting very long. A lot of people just don't realise that they need to adjust these on a daily basis. It really takes no time at all. I always make sure the electrics in my tent are set so that I have electrics at the bottom of the bed. I leave this plugged in all the time. Have a little table there which has got my phone etc. on, which are on charge overnight anyway. When you get up in the morning, what was that, 2-3 seconds, something like that, let a bit of air out. Then over the course of the day, as the air expands, it's not going to do any damage to it at all. And then later on the evening, before you go to bed, or once the heat started to go off the day, or the sun's gone down or whatever, then you just flip your switch. And you're done. A lot of people talk about the hassle of maintaining an airbed. But I have to say, if you think that is hassle, then you know there's not a lot of pleasing you. There's no hassle at all to looking after these. If you don't let some air out, then they're not going to last as long because they will expand over the course of the day. And of course at night, make sure they're a little bit, you know, that they're right for you. Not everybody likes them as firm as they need to be. In terms of weight loading, these hold about 135 kilos for a single and 270 kilos for a double, which is actually more than most camp beds do. So if you're fairly large, I'm no Slim Jim, but if you're fairly large, then you should still be absolutely fine on one of these. You know, they are very, very good. They're really, really comfortable. The other things people complain about with airbeds are feeling cold. I've never had this, but I do take some precautions. When you put air inside something, that air is at ambient temperature. If the night is cooler, then over the course of the night that air will cool down. Also, they will, cold air or hot air will convect from the ground upwards. Very, very easy way of sorting that one. Put something on the floor to insulate first. In our tents, in the bedroom compartments, I always use either the EVA foam square matting that you can buy. You can put a carpet down. You can buy a couple of foil-backed extra large picnic blanket for £9 each from Lidl or Aldi or somewhere like that. Anything like that at all, put underneath the bed to insulate from the cold will help. From the top, what I normally do is on the singles I have a couple of just ordinary mattress protectors that go over. You know, they're just really cheap, £6 jobbies from Tesco, and I find they do the job absolutely fine. For the king size one, I do have one of those big fleecy mattress toppers, which again are really, really good, and they really, really keep the heat in. I find that they work really, really well. Over the top of that sheet, although this is larger than a normal bed, there are plenty of sheets you can get. Again, Lidl and Aldi do sheets from time to time, fitted sheets which are 99 centimetres wide. They fit it absolutely perfectly. The king size fits your normal king size stuff absolutely perfectly. So a king size topper, a king size sheet. And then we take duvets and pillows with us. If I go away on my own and I take this one, then sometimes I'll just take a couple of sleeping bags and lay one sleeping bag on the bottom and one over the top, rather than use a duvet. But whatever suits you, they're very, very versatile. The other problems with Airbeds, they are plastic inflatables. You know, please don't blame the airbed if you're jumping up and down on it, your kids are jumping up and down on it, your dog's got its claws on it. If you've got jeans on with the studs on the bottom, if you're jumping around on it with those, treat them for what they are. They're something to sleep on. They're not really a toy. They're not designed to be put on top of rocks and pebbles and sharp objects. They're not really, if you've got keys in your pocket, the sort of thing you should be jumping around on. If you treat them with the care that they need, you should find that they last you for a good long time. The Intex ones I think come with a year's warranty. It's a shame they don't come with a longer warranty, but you know. But this one's a year old now. The other singles are probably 2 to 3 years old, and the king size one is 5-6 years old now, and every one of them's been absolutely fine. So just to recap, when you first blow them up, give them half an hour or so, or even an hour, to let all the little creases and everything, you know, sort of work their way out, and then blow them up again. If it's a hot day, let them down a little bit in the morning when you get out of bed. 5 seconds, 3 seconds on that valve there will do the job. And then before you go to bed, or when the heat's gone off the day, blow them back up. That'll take equally, you know, 3, 4, 5 seconds. And don't treat them like a bouncy castle, because they're not. So I hope that's been of some help to you. My name is Colin. If you haven't enjoyed this video, please subscribe. There'll be lots more videos coming up shortly. And thank you very much. Bye.